Sunlight streamed through the leaves, painting dappled patterns on the park bench. He sat alone, lost in thought, a single red rose resting beside him. She hurried past, a whirlwind of energy, then stopped, drawn back by a force she couldn't explain. Their eyes met. He smiled, shyly offering the rose. She took it, her fingers brushing his, and the world bloomed anew. The air vibrated with unspoken promises. They talked, shyly at first, then with growing ease. He was charming, with eyes that held a hint of sadness. She, vibrant and full of life, her laughter like wind chimes. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, they knew this was no ordinary encounter. Fate had intervened. Their love story unfolded like a classic film. Picnics under a cerulean sky, his arm around her as they watched the clouds drift by, candlelit dinners, her hand resting in his, their fingers intertwined. He wrote her poetry, words that made her heart soar. She painted him pictures, each brushstroke a whisper of her love. They built a world for themselves, a haven of shared dreams and whispered secrets. He saw her strength, her compassion, she, his vulnerability, his kind heart. They were two halves of a whole, fitting perfectly together, but even the brightest light can be dimmed by shadows. The news came on a day that began like any other. Sunshine, birdsong, the scent of her favorite coffee brewing. But as she spoke, her voice trembling, the light seemed to drain from the room. A new job, a world of opportunity, but thousands of miles away. He listened, his heart plummeting like a stone. "It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance," she said, her eyes pleading for understanding. He knew she was right. He wanted her to chase her dreams, even if it meant letting go. But the thought of life without her was like a physical ache. The days that followed were a blur of goodbyes and hollow promises to stay in touch. He stood on the platform, watching the train pull away, taking a piece of his soul with it. Rain began to fall, mirroring the tears he could no longer hold back. He walked for hours, the city lights blurring into a kaleidoscope of pain. Memories ambushed him at every turn. Their first kiss, her laughter, the way she always knew how to make him smile. The world felt cold, empty. He was adrift in a sea of despair, the woman he loved a distant star. Months passed, each one an eternity. He tried to move on, to rebuild his life, but the pieces never quite fit. Then, one blustery autumn evening, a familiar figure stepped off the train. Her eyes, shining with love and a hint of apology, met his. She was home. The world shifted back into focus, the colors returning in a rush. No words were spoken, none were needed. In that single perfect moment, all the pain, all the heartbreak faded away. They had found their way back to each other, and this time, they knew their love was strong enough to weather any storm.